did not make a mistake during that activity?
Everybody knows.
So did she suck at that activity?
No.
What does it mean to make a mistake? You learn. You gotta learn from it. Okay? Theater is not math. There's not one specific process that works, and there's not one specific multiple choice answer that's the only correct answer. Okay? You're gonna make mistakes because that's the whole process. That's the point. It's not about having a right answer or a wrong answer. It's about having the answer that's gonna work for you, and that's gonna work for you in this show. Your Chad is not gonna be the same as Cheyenne Jackson's Chad. Your Dennis isn't going to be the same as the guy who played Dennis at Texas A&M. Okay? It's not even going to be the same as somebody else who did it at some other high school. It's going to be our show, so we don't have to find the right answer. We just have to find the method that works for us in our version of this show. Okay? So get that notion of I sucked out of your head. There's no wrong answer. It's just experimenting until you find what works for you in this version of this show. What else happened in this activity? People started helping each other. Who was the first to help each other? I think Joanna at one point in time ran around for her to help. Was it Kaylee?
No.
Who was it? Was it Ryan? Brian. Everybody's pointing to Kaylee and Jordan's like, I think it was me. Okay? You guys started working together. Okay? We just talked about it's not that one person sucks. We're an ensemble. We've got to work together. It's not this person's doing their first show, so they suck. It's this person's just starting to experiment with this process, so we need to help them out. There's always going to be somebody who has a different idea, or a better idea, or a worse idea, or just a completely different idea that I've never considered and you've never considered, and it might work. Okay? But no matter what, you've got to help each other out. What happened when you made a mistake?
You had to go back to the beginning.
You had to go back to the beginning. How did you go back to the beginning?
In the way we're doing it.
Why?
So that you remember.
So that you remembered what you had done? What did you have to remember?
You like remember the names.
Okay, it helps you remember the right path so far. What else did it do?
Helps you learn what you did wrong.
Okay, you're noticing, oh, that's where I screwed up. Right? Theater is a process. Those of you who've done this before, you know it's the same thing over and over and over. Sometimes it gets redundant. Sometimes we get frustrated or bored because we keep having to go back to the same spot. But it's so that you can figure out what's going wrong and so that you can remember what you've done right so far. Okay? If you've done a show with me, which about half of us only have, I'm going to stop you. I'm going to make you go back. And when you get it right, I'm going to let you keep going so that that right was the last thing you had in your head. So when you trace your way back, you trace your steps back exactly as you came through the right path so that that's the one that stays in your head. Because if you say it wrong and then you walk away from it, that's the one that you walk away remembering. And that's the one that you emulate later. So it's not a personal issue. It's not, I just can't stand Jeremy, or I just can't stand Kerrigan, or Trey, or Rosie. It's, I want you to walk away remembering the one that felt right for you. How did you feel during this process?
Frustrated.
Angry, frustrated. It was fun. What else?
Annoyed.
Annoyed. Why? Why did you feel angry, frustrated, annoyed?
Because I couldn't complete it.
Because I couldn't complete it. You did, so you could, so don't say that anymore. Everybody can. Is it the same process for everybody? No. Does everybody remember it with just as much ease? No. But there's somebody who's going to be there to help you. Whether it's with a dance step, whether it's with a line, whether it's with how to say a line or how to enter the stage. Somebody's going to be there to help you. That's what you're here for. You're not here to have Brian's show. It's our show. So somebody is here to help you. Angry, frustrated, annoyed. How else did you feel?
Team bonding.
What?
Team bonding.
Team bonding?
Relieved.
You felt relieved? When did you feel relieved?
When the first person completed it.
When the first person completed it! Who felt more relieved when the first person got it than when you got it? Why? Because now you know what to do. Now you've done it once and you can get through it together. Because at least that one person knows that they've got to jump over that last square. Right? We don't have to make all the mistakes all the time. We can also learn from other people and what they do. What were the rules? No talking for the entire activity. What else?
One person on the maze at a time.
One person on the maze at a time until when?
Until they completed it.
Until the maze has been completed. After the maze has been completed, what?
Everyone has to do it.
What does that mean?
You have to complete it.
When did one person on the maze at a time end? When the maze has been completed. When did the maze get completed? When Kaylee stepped off. After the maze has been completed, everyone must step through the maze. I repeated the rules over and over and over as a clue. I will never tell you directly, this is what you've got to do. Because it's not me playing Jim Holler. Okay? It's not me playing Sylvia. So I'm going to ask you questions and I'm going to give you hints, but I want you to find your own answer. You guys at the end there could have all been on the maze at the same time, walking through it hand in hand, following each other. What would have happened if you had done that? Would I have been able to notice when she stepped on the wrong square and send her back? Probably not. Because there's so much going on. And that's kind of what shows are about. We fight and we fight and we fight to make it perfect. Every individual, every rehearsal. But when that show comes, and that audience is there seeing that show for the first or second time if we're lucky, are they going to notice those little mistakes? No. If you skip a line and you jump ahead, nobody's going to notice. If you do a box step while everybody else is spinning, sweet, you had a dance solo. Whatever. Okay? Start thinking. I want to challenge you to start problem solving and thinking on your own because I'm not going to tell you the direct answer. Okay, about half of you guys were in Radium Girls, and I know a lot of people in Radium Girls got real frustrated with me because I would not tell them how to do it. I'd sit there and ask questions and ask questions and ask questions until they figured it out. Which one's better? If you figure it out for yourself, it's going to be a lot more believable to the audience. And it's going to be a lot more fun to the audience to watch you enjoy playing your role your way. Not math. Not. I can't tell you exactly how to do it. I can ask you questions. I can give you guidelines. I can try and help guide you, and that is exactly what I will do. I will guide you through here by telling you, whoa, no, that's wrong. But I'm not going to tell you, here's exactly how you walk over this. I'm not going to tell you guys, look, here's the path. There's a jump there. Because otherwise there's no victory at the end for you. Right? What happened when you guys got on the sideline? Once you were done? Once you had completed the maze, what happened?
You felt relieved.
You felt relieved? What else?
We walked away.
You walked away. Did anybody else notice that? Who was the last? Were you the last? How did that feel when everybody was over there high-fiving and like hanging out and kind of whispering and chatting and hoping I didn't hear them, and you were here on your own?
I felt lonely.
Then what happened?
And then as soon as I started, they all came back and helped.
People came back, but there was that moment when she felt lonely. In a show and in an ensemble, what happens in that moment? It falls apart. If you allow your castmates to feel lonely and to feel isolated and to feel like it's all on their shoulders and you're off doing your own thing and celebrating, if you're that person who's going to say, look, they're only a sophomore and they've never done this before and they kind of suck and I don't really want to do the scene with them, how are they going to rebound from that? Don't allow yourself to walk away. Your part might not be on the stage right now, but there's still something you can do. I saw during auditions a lot of people who went, I can't really sing, but I'm here. Every one of you can do it. But every one of you needs that ensemble here to help each other through it. Hey, right? Okay? Don't be that person who does your part and walks away. Be that person who comes back and who helps them not feel lonely and isolated on stage. Okay? That's what an ensemble is for. It's a team. If you lose that one point guard or if you lose that one defender, the team's down for it. Okay? Let's make sure that that doesn't happen here. Okay? I want to go around. I want everything, I'm sorry, I just called you things. I want everybody to say one thing about this activity. It can be a feeling you had at a specific moment. It can be something you noticed. It can be connecting this to the theater process. It can be, wow, that was weird. No copying what somebody else has said, so now that I've said that, you can't say that, even though I just said you could. But I want to go around and I want to hear everybody one thought about the activity that you got out of this. Does anybody want to volunteer to start? Go for it, Kerrigan.
Okay, I just thought it was interesting and kind of cool how once one person started helping, slowly everybody else started joining. And by the end, when Brittany was the last one to do it, everybody was there pointing and helping.
So this is just kind of to go back to the getting frustrated part. It kind of proves true that everyone's going to get frustrated with certain people because they're not doing as well as the others. But then you always have to be able to remind yourself that everyone kind of learns at their own pace, and kind of how this shows that everyone will get it eventually. Some just may need more practice than others. It's just what you got to back in. Always remember.
Go for it.
I was kind of scared of being alone, and I was glad that everybody was there.
It was cool how everyone actually came together just for one person, so they could get through the main instead of them going by themselves.
This whole process, eventually you get through it because you have the help of other people, and you eventually, when you get to the end, you're relieved and you're glad that you did it because of the slow process.
Well, I enjoyed it. It was fun. And I like I like your concept on how that you learn from your mistakes, and then once you know what it is, then you'll do it the way your right way, your personal right way. And not for this game, but but I like that concept. You always learn from mistakes and you'll learn the right path.
I was going to say, I thought it was kind of cool how everyone did it differently. Some people went really fast and stepped over their own feet and almost fell. And there were other people who went really slow and thought about each step before they took it. So I just thought it was cool how everyone had a different pace.
I think that if we do that thing together, we come together as a group even better, and then that will help in the musical that everybody supports everyone.
Yeah, if you can figure this out with no instructions, learning some dance steps and walking should be easy.
Going through it is kind of thinking why, why we did this, but now that I see what the purpose was, kind of like what Rosie said, it was really cool to have that creative and different activity that would actually have a lesson for us.
oh, I'm done, like, I quit. And I see that everyone's still
I really appreciated the way that you described the activity and related it back to theater because it made me think about everything that I had done last semester and like how I was kind of ignorant in a way and like different ways and how I got more frustrated. And I think this kind of helps me understand more of the process.
It was really frustrating the whole thing and how we got stuck at that one part and we weren't really sure what to do. But I felt like, you know, we're going to have those moments during, you know, all this. And after, you know, we did figure it out, it was just so relieving. And I had this in my head and I just couldn't really figure out how to word it. But it was just so frustrating, but, you know,
But you know.
it's something, yeah.
Anybody else?
Kaylee.
I guess it was kind of weird how some you're like, no, whatever, it's fine. But other people like go through and be like, yeah, that's awesome. And they're like, yeah, new stuff. Not bad. Not bad.
Does anybody want to add one final thought before we wrap up and move on to the next thing?
Which is one thing that no one else really touched base on. There was the point when you gave like this thing to do. Kind of gotta find other alternatives to make it work. If the right thing is not the right thing. Makes sense.
One last thing before we wrap this up. I want everybody to remember this step right here, because that is a box step. That is one of the most commonly used dance steps in musical theater.
Yeah, we did that.
Everybody remember those right there.
Yep.
Everybody stand up, please. We're going to move on to the next activity.